Up next, we have Sarah Dodd, the SVP from Lowe's Home Improvement, not Lowe's Grocery, Lowe's Home Improvement. There is a story back behind the two Lowe's, but don't worry about that. So Sarah's going to join us, and we'll do a fireside chat, just a little, take a little break from the big PowerPoint. We'll have a couple of pictures. For those of you who went, what the heck is Lowe's doing at a private brand event? You're going to learn some things. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about Sarah, first of all, who you are and how you got where you are and so forth.
Yeah, so hello everybody, good to see you. Nice to be here, nice to meet you all from the stage. But my name is Sarah Dodd. I'm the SVP of Global Merchandising for Lowe's Home Improvement. I've been with the company for about 17 years, started as an intern, which is really cool. Love that I've been able to kind of work my way up in a really, really large company, right? Almost $100 billion retailer. So I've done a lot of different things. I've known you. Did people know that you
yes.
used
so
to
I
be
was at
Lowe's?
Lowe's for 5 years, yep.
Yeah. So Chris and I worked together a long time ago.
Sarah was the walls and windows merchant at the time, and then the
and he was
bath.
helping me with curtains, believe it or not. But yeah, so I've done everything. I've been a merchant for a long time. So I did walls and windows, so curtains, drapery, hardware, blinds and shades. I've done paint, so everything in a can, interior, exterior paint, exterior stains, primers, floor coatings, marine paint, all of that good stuff. And then I moved over to fashion plumbing. So I've had faucets, which is a super, super fun category when you do faucets and showering products. The only problem with that is now every time I go into somebody else's house, I'm checking out their faucet. So I'm one of those people, right? So I did fashion plumbing for a while. I actually helped open our New York stores in Manhattan. We had 2 stores in City Center. So we had one in the Upper West Side and we had one in Chelsea. So did that for a while, which was super cool to think about the difference in customers and localization, right? Because what customers need in New York City is very different for home improvement than what customers need in Charlotte or wherever that may be. So that was a really fun project. We actually had stores, if anybody's from California or the West Coast, we actually owned, I see a hand. We actually used to own a chain called Orchard Supply Hardware. And so spent some time with Orchard, again, which was really interesting. We were looking to open stores in Florida. And for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of difference between California and Florida, other than it just being sunny. And so again, was asked to kind of work on that from a localization standpoint, making sure those stores were meaningful, they meant something to the customer, and applicable. So did that for a while. We moved back into Lowe's, still under the Lowe's umbrella, if you will. I've led our pricing and promotions organization, so been over all of our retail side, as well as special values and promotional pricing, as well as credit. So if anybody has a Lowe's credit card in their wallet right now, thank you for being a customer. But then also ran that organization, flex space, merch ops and infrastructure. Then I went and led the kitchen and bath organization. So I've led kitchen and bath, and then now I'm on global merchandising. So what that means is I have all of our private brand portfolio, as well as quality assurance for the entire organization, and sourcing. So our sourcing organizations and offices all around the world. So again, it's really nice for you all to be here in our backyard. Lowe's we are located just about maybe 20 miles north in Mooresville, North Carolina, on Lake Norman. We are from Wilkesboro, North Carolina, which is a small town a little northwest of here, but now our main offices are in Mooresville. We are building a tech center here in downtown Charlotte in South End, where we'll have a lot of our technology folks will be out of that office. So Lowe's is excited and proud to be from Charlotte. We're proud to be a part of Charlotte, doing big things in Charlotte these days, with Marvin Ellison, our CEO, doing a lot of give back to local communities and organizations. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the private brand, right? Because the conversation is usually packaged goods. It's great value and all that. So can you just kind of frame up, what's the scale? What are we talking about here?
So let's see, without giving away trade secrets, I'd say we'll be close to $20 billion in private brand sales. So when you kind of think about that, it's you're probably sitting there going, "Are you kidding me? I didn't even know Lowe's had private brands." But every time you walk in our store, you'll see a lot of them, right? So Cobalt is one of our private brands. So anytime you say Cobalt tools or power equipment, that's our brand. Oh, look at your pictures.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even know that you had that. Okay.
Magic.
Like you kind of knew which one I was going to go to first.
There
That's a
you
little
go.
scary. But Cobalt is one of our brands. I don't know what you have next. I feel like this is like insane pressure.
I don't have any more.
Okay,
of that.
okay.
I have some other slides, but they go with the questions.
Am I going to have to sit here and guess what's coming? You know, another one that you might not know is Allen and Roth. So Allen and Roth, you'll see across a lot of our patio and decor right now, and a big home decor brand. But what's funny is when people are asked about some of our brands, they think they're national brands. And I guess that's when you know you're kind of doing it well, is that when people don't realize that your private brand is a private brand, and it's your company's brand.
Well, you know, there's such a history of private brand in home improvement, all the way back to the Craftsman and the Kenmores. I like to tell people, if you have a ceiling fan in your house and you look up, the odds of it being a Harbor Breeze fan, which is theirs, they have about a 30% market share. If you look at IRI and Nelson, she hasn't told me those numbers, if anybody, but if you look at the published numbers, Home Depot has another 30% in their Hampton Bay, and then everybody else. So it's huge brands and huge categories. In her, when she was in faucets, she had AquaSource and Project Source. So what is there? Couple of dozen brands at this point?
Yeah, so we have 15 brands now. And you know, I think the thing about it is we've been more intentional, I'd say, in the past couple of years of making sure each brand has a position, right? The Party City presentation, I'm gonna get it wrong, but it was like, you know, the economic differentiators, the competitive and strategic. Did I get them? Is that right? I don't know if they're still here, but I think I got those right. But we think about it kind of the same way as far as whether it's a value brand, whether it's a style brand. So we kind of segment them a little bit differently, but a little bit the same. But our portfolio and our house of brands certainly lends itself to many different product categories across the entire store, all the way to lumber. So all the, you know, from every end of the store, basically you'll interact with our private brands when you go shop at Lowe's.
So tell me a little bit about your global sourcing organization, because you guys are kind of all over the world, right?
We are. So we you know, our largest office certainly is in Shanghai. You know, we have both our sourcing and quality assurance teams in Shanghai. And I don't know if any of you have associates in Shanghai, but it's certainly been a very difficult situation the past few months. And that's something that, you know, I'm really proud of Lowe's and how we've stepped up. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, it's been hard for people to get food in Shanghai. I mean, to the point where, you know, we've gotten food drops for our folks over there. So, you know, we're certainly, they're doing everything they can. They're super resilient. But we do have offices in Shanghai. We have an office in Amsterdam, which I told you about, which is a new one. We have offices in Mexico. We have offices in Vietnam. And I'm missing Canada. And I think in India. So we're kind of all over the world.
I mean, I know when I was there, I thought it was magical. I mean, basically, we could source anything at any quality from anywhere in the world, and it would be there in 90 days, 120 days, or whatever.
And we've done a lot of work on what I'll call, there's kind of two things. There's product specifications and then performance specifications, right? So we've done a lot of work over the past year, and we still have more to go. But for every single private branded product in every brand, so just take your Cobalt example here on the screen. Say we had another brand that was a private brand in the same reciprocating saw. You know, we have to go through the performance specifications very clearly to say, you know, how quickly is the blade going to go back and forth? How much will it cut? The battery charge, the battery life. And so for every private brand product, for every category, for every brand, we have these performance specifications. So to your point, when we design product, because we have in-house design as well as third-party design, so when we design product, we can take the design plus the performance specifications, take it to our sourcing offices around the world. They go find the best product at the best cost, at the best value. Of course, we have to channel it, get it here. That's a whole nother conversation for another day right now.
Oh, that's a whole conference by itself.
But then that's kind of how the flywheel and the magic happens.
Well, so we'll talk about design and performance a little bit more, because you've launched Moxie. I know that really has a performance piece to it.
Moxie. Yeah, Moxie's an interesting one. So when you think about the right place at the right time, we got, you know, they say you always need a little bit of luck in there too, right? Because this launched really right before the pandemic in a big way. And so when the pandemic hit, as many of you know, first of all, there was a run on toilet paper. And you couldn't find some of this stuff in stores. And then we were also having We also carry national brands in this segment in our stores because we say we're a house of brands, right? At Lowe's, we're never going to be all private brands. We're always going to be a house of brands. There's a place for national brands as well as private brands in our space. But with Moxie, the interesting thing is when customers couldn't find the national brand that they typically would buy during the pandemic, they tried Moxie, right? I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess, right? And so they said, well, I'll give this Moxie a try. And what's interesting is they're not going back. At least our penetration of Moxie is really holding strong in our stores now. So it's just interesting to see how some of that customer behavior, not only did it change in our stores from a technology perspective and people wanting, buy online, pick up in store, and the lockers, it really accelerated consumer behavior, I would say. But it also, in some cases like Moxie, really changed the trajectory and demand for our products just based on what was happening in the world.
Yeah, it's another one of those categories I don't think people quite realize how many cleaning supplies you guys actually sell.
Yeah, well, and now, it's interesting, we've moved cleaning supplies to our front drive aisle. So now when you walk in the store, I'm sure some of you have been frustrated because you can't find your light bulbs there. Seems to be like the number one question we get when you walk in your store is, where did the light bulbs go? So they're not on the drive aisle anymore. They're in lighting. But we moved cleaning to that main drive aisle because a lot of people didn't know we had it, quite frankly. And it's a really great thing that when you're in the store, you just throw in your basket if you're already there. Because another thing we've seen with consumer behavior is that people want less shops, right? You want less stops, less shops as you go. And you think about gas prices and everything else, people are being very mindful of, I want to go to somewhere where I can get everything I need in one shopping, trip. And so that's why we're seeing, kind of that success of cleaning. And I don't know much about it, but you'll see us trying different things like with the pet relationship and those kinds of store within a store is how can we try to help increase the customer shoppability within our box.
Well, so let's talk about, because you also launched another brand where you kind of were able to flex both consumer insights and your internal design prowess in Origin 21. Tell us about that.
Origin 21, so we just launched this spring. And this is really, there it is. Look at, I'm really proud of your pictures that you grabbed here. Like, they're good ones. Like, you didn't even have to review this here. But look at that egg chair. I mean, just a phenomenal designed product. Don't love it, because you're gonna have to wait till next year. It's pretty much sold out. But really an example of a great product at a great value, and people couldn't believe it was from Lowe's, and it's Origin 21 in our own brand. And the thing about Origin 21 and how it came about was really customer research, right? And the millennial and this need and desire for a more modern look at a value. Because we already had Allen + Roth, which I mentioned earlier, and Allen + Roth is more of a like a traditional timeless brand is what I'll say. And so, but we saw that we were missing this segment of this modern. And so, Origin 21, we don't think will ever be as big as Allen + Roth, or as what we affectionately call it A&R. But like, I don't think that in Origin 21 is O21. So I say either one of those, you know what I mean? But I don't think O21 is ever going to be as big as Allen + Roth. But at the same time, it really meets a really great customer, and we were missing them. And and that's one of the things about Lowe's is we're really striving for our products as well as our associates to represent the communities which we serve, right? And so the associates, right? You always want your store associates to reflect the communities in which they're represented, and you want your products to represent the communities in which they're represented. And so we found this one to be a big opportunity for us. It's interesting where the online versus the in-store play, and what percentage of that brand will end up being online versus in-store. But so far for us has been incredibly well received.
How big is the box for the egg chair?
Well, it comes apart. You don't just
Is it like
throw
IKEA?
that sucker
Is it like
in the back of
IKEA
your
where
truck.
it's 7,000 pieces?
No.
Awesome. Well, but it's been an exciting couple of years. So you also acquired a brand that you're now using that really has a technology piece to it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody really knows this, but we acquired StainMaster. So we acquired StainMaster last April, and so StainMaster is now a Lowe's brand, which is really exciting. And so when you think about the why, right? StainMaster is the #1 recognized brand in carpet. But what was interesting about StainMaster when we started kind of really digging around is we had been Stainmaster had been exclusive to Lowe's in the retail channel for, 10 years. I mean, been a long time. Looking to some of my peers for help here. For a long time, and it was like we weren't kind of getting credit for that. And so when we started kind of really peeling back the onion on Stainmaster, what we found is that when you ask customers, they said, man, I would buy Stainmaster other products, right? So you'll see us, we've just came out with Stainmaster tiles now in the store. You'll see it expanding across the floor categories and laminate and those types of things. But there's other places where customers gave us the nod for Stainmaster too, right? So they said, wow, I'd really appreciate a Stainmaster, capabilities or performance in upholstery, right? So thinking about it, could you have cushions that are treated with Stainmaster, or could you have maybe even a paint that could be Stainmaster paint, or there's like scuff resistant or stain resistant. So we're really excited about the brand and where it can go, but it's been different, right? So the difference about Stainmaster is we used to, I'll call it a performance brand. So, different from 021 or Origin 21, which we just talked about, which is like a decor brand, right? When I do my quality assurance testing, I'm making sure that it fits together and that it holds its capacity and those types of things. And it has a limited lifetime warranty kind of thing. But when you go into Stainmaster, people expect that performance. And so the rigor that we're having to instill into our innovation processes, our product development timelines, quality assurance testing has really grown expansively, but in a good way, because we're going to keep this. They're going to keep the warranty. We're going to stand behind it. So if someone bought their Stainmaster carpet, even if it wasn't from us and it was from a third-party, smaller retailer, then we're still honoring that Stainmaster warranty.
That's great. Yeah.
Because we believe in it. We believe in the product. We believe in the brand. And just because we acquired the brand doesn't mean we're going to diminish what Stainmaster stands for. So it's really been an interesting kind of case study in how you acquire a performance brand versus just a private brand where you're just putting your name on something when it has to meet different standards.
That's cool. So finally, last question, right? You are, I know you've been pretty actively involved in making it with Lowe. So it's you guys' kind of Shark Tank-y thing. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so, making it with Lowe's has been a really fun thing that we've done. We partnered with Damon John, speaking of Shark
actual
Tank,
shark, yeah.
one of the sharks. And so, what we realized is it's really hard for small and diverse businesses to get into a large retailer. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to know which door to knock on, which email address to send something to. Are you going to get a response? Are you not? And so making it with Lowe's was the way that we allowed and provided an avenue for all these small and diverse businesses, especially in underserved communities, to be able to pitch their products into Lowe's. And at the end of the session, so we kind of culled them down and you have different rounds and different people reviewing them. And it ended with, unfortunately during COVID, we had to do them kind of virtually, but ended with a show, if you will, that we broadcast internally within our organization. And then, it's kind of similar to America's Big Deal. You saw us participate in America's Big Deal this year too, which was great. And so we were actually able to help and kind of write POs on the spot, right, to some folks who got deals with
People
Lowe's.
love that.
And so, kind of similar with making it with Lowe's, right, is we got them down and kind of the folks at the end were able to get placement in our stores. And it's just been tremendous. I mean, we've had everyone from, Lola's Hot Sauce win at a couple or be one of the finalists, to veteran-owned companies, to, women-owned companies, so, diverse-owned companies. So it's been a great avenue for us to find kind of those small kind of hidden gems that maybe wouldn't have made it our way.
And so how did the hot sauce do in store?
Well, think about it. We sell grills. We sell all of that stuff. So, you're in the store buying a grill. Why not pick up your hot sauce along the way?
So for you food manufacturers, it's not impossible, and they have a lot of doors.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have the, checkouts too. So, there's lots of snacks and those types of things at checkout. Because, pros get hungry. I mean, you think about contractors, they come in the store. And that end of the store, you will be amazed if you ever want to see something pretty phenomenal. Is when you get up early in the morning and go to Lowe's or our competitor around, 6:37 in the morning. That place is hopping. There's not
and
many.
They're throwing a case of water and a bag of beef jerky.
There's not many places that will be as busy as that in the morning as them getting ready to go out to the job sites.
Well, very good. Well, thank you for joining us, Sarah. I appreciate you
Yeah,
being here.
it's fun.
Been trying to get her on stage for, I don't know, 10 years.
Oh, stop. That's ridiculous.
She never said no. No. Well, you never said no.
To that.
No, that's true. You weren't quite as SVP yet, though, so yeah.
All right.
It's been a long
Thank
time
you.
coming, but congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What are we doing next?
So we're a little bit off on time, but we'll catch back up. We have a break we can move in. The cocktail party's flexible as well. Does anybody have any questions? It could probably take 2, maybe 3 questions if you want to. Frederick?
That was quick. His arm
Frederick-
shot up.
Frederick, the
I'm a little
microphone's up
nervous. Don't be so anxious about asking a question.
No.
That's not on.
Speak up.
I'll talk loud.
Okay.
So Lowe's acquired Craftsman brand?
No. Stanley Black & Decker owns Craftsman. So
Sold at Lowe's.
it's sold at Lowe's, yeah.
So, okay, in my mind, I thought it was a brand that was acquired by Lowe's.
You're not the only one. Don't worry.
So, regardless, can you tell me a little bit how that integration, right? Because Craftsman was synonym with Sears, and we know what happened to Sears. How is that brand performing? How do you see the relationship between that
Frederick,
brand?
she's not going to answer performance questions.
Well, no,
Okay.
I think the interesting thing about Craftsman is, and it's exclusive in the Home Center channel, so it's exclusive to us, but it's also sold at Ace and Amazon and lots of other places. But what I would say about Craftsman is that mech tool customer is extremely loyal. And so where Craftsman is super strong is with mech tools. And so there's something about getting that mech tool customer early on, whether they're getting their first mech tool set and beginning their career, and then you're able to bring them into our box and keep them in our box. So that was really the driver of Craftsman for us, because we already have Cobalt, so we had our own private brand. But the mech tool piece is what's really interesting about Craftsman.
And for those of you who don't know what mech tools is.
Oh, sorry.
It's mechanical tools fixing cars, basically.
Fixing cars,
Yeah.
like wrench, socket sets, those types of things.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey.
Great interview. Very lucky to have you, Lowe's. Very lucky to have you. You've talked about localization of the New York market, the Miami market. I know you've acquired a company in Canada called Rona. How is that going? Are you seeing different buying concept or sourcing related to the Canadian operation? Thank
Yeah,
you.
so we do have, and goodness, gosh, I think there are 5 or 6 different brands are banners under Rona. There's Reno Depot, there's Rona, there's a number of different ones, and so we really keep our Canadian buying office and our U.S. buying office separate for that reason, because it is so market specific. However, my team and the sourcing team still sources for both Canada and U.S., and then my QA team does QA for both Canada and U.S., but there's a separate Canadian buying arm that's out of our Canadian offices for that reason, because it is so, and within Canada, it's very localized too, right? And if you don't know those nuances, you could really get it wrong.
Good, thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anything else? They aren't easy.
Oh, we
crowd.
got one
oh,
over
we
here.
got one. Got a couple. Hi, how are you? Good. How are you?
I'm curious with Staymaster. We've seen big lots by Roy Hill, lots by Staymaster. How do you maintain, I guess, the history and integrity of that brand as you bring it into Lowe's?
By maintaining the performance specifications, right? I mean, if we were to bring it in, and some of the folks that I work with on the team are down here, they know that we are being incredibly stringent on launching anything that has Stainmaster on it to make sure it meets those customer expectations of what that brand is. Because the worst thing we could have done is acquired it and then just started putting it on everything and it not meaning anything anymore, and you completely dilute what Stainmaster means. But when the magic is going to happen is when customers will buy something that now maybe it's a different product with Stainmaster on it, and they have that same experience with that same performance quality. That's when it's like, okay, like this is the real deal, because we've been incredibly intentional and stringent. We won't let anything go that doesn't meet very rigid performance standards, because we're holding the warranty, like I said before. I mean, it's going to have a lifetime warranty. When we say that, we mean it. So we want to make sure that everything performs that way.
Perfect.
There was one more, I thought. Yep.
Hi, Brett Harris from SGK. Sarah, just interested, when Chris opened up, he talked about a lot of us don't know that Lowe's has private brands, or
Yeah.
we don't have that association between the brand and the master brand. And just talk to us a little bit, is that intentional? Are there brands where you do want to link back to the Lowe's credibility, or do you really try and keep them separate?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say what you'll see is, we have products within the Lowe's box that's Lowe's branded too, right? So we kind of also manage like our Lowe's brand. Like how many
Not a
do you
lot,
have-
not a lot.
No, how many of you have a Lowe's blue bucket like
house
in your
wrap, but,
in your
yeah.
garage, right? Don't let me know if you have an orange one. I'm well known for going around my neighborhood when I'm on my walks at night, switching out people's buckets. And then I have all these orange buckets, and my husband's like, what am I supposed to do with these? I'm like, you're supposed to throw them away. That's what you're supposed to do. But, so we have some Lowe's branded products that we also manage. But I'd say, you'll start to see us do things around,
That lady works for Home Depot.
around, that's okay.
Home Depot
She
Canada, though.
They probably
She's
throw away our
Canadian. They're all
buckets,
nice,
too.
so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I buy my own buckets to replace them with.
Okay, well, that's fine.
You can buy your own buckets to replace mine with. It's just how you roll. But oh gosh, now you got me all distracted. Oh, we were talking about brands that give back, and so you will see us start to kind of tie some of our brands into a brands that give back messaging into our community relations campaign, in the sense that that we want to make sure that people understand that when you're buying our brands, that allows us to do more in the community down the road. So you'll see that kind of starting to be woven in there. And we talked about that earlier with kind of inclusion, right? And what kind of different customers are looking for in that authentic brand positioning. And so that's something that we think is going to be really important. So it's not going to be kind of blatant and in your face, but it'll be one of those messages of, and when you support our brands, this is what we're able to do for our community.
I think we had one more, and then we're going to be done. Right
Okay.
here.
Sarah, my name is Wayne Bennett with ECR, and I think we actually work together.
Yes.
with the Lowe's program.
Yes.
Thank you for that support. So in the modern age of the merchant, in this matrix of all these activities they have to do and manage, what are some of the pet peeves or the must-nots that suppliers need to not do in this to improve collaboration, collaboration?
So I think the thing that you have to do, right? Maybe I'll turn it a little bit on what you need to do, maybe not what not to do. It always has to be rooted in the customer, right? And so I think anybody's going to have more success when information is presented to us in such a way that it's rooted in customer need, customer benefit, customer wants, right? I think that from there, it's up to the merchant to understand our customers well enough. Because our merchants are expected to be customer experts in their category. They're expected to know exactly, different pockets. We also have a field merchandising organization, and so our field merchants are out there to help and help us understand. Because it's hard for a merchant based here in North Carolina to understand all those nuances. But we have field merchants all over the country who will help us with those. So I think once a vendor brings a proposition, whether that be software or a product or whatever it may be, that's rooted in like kind of the customer need, you're always going to get a better look, right? And then I think it becomes what's that value and what is it that you can deliver that's differentiated experience? Because what we see a lot of times, to be quite frank, is a lot of Me Too stuff, right? And so like, how do you make sure that whenever you're putting your offer forward or your program or your product, that you're clearly differentiating what makes you different? Because my LinkedIn blows up every day, all day, from suppliers from around the world, which is great, but the ones that are quickly able to delineate the difference and what sets them apart is the ones that kind of stop me for a minute.
And I may not tell people all the time. It's, when manufacturers complain about procurement, I'm like, the easiest way to avoid procurement is to be different.
Right.
Tell them a reason you have to buy from them.
That's exactly right.
Otherwise, it's going to go straight to procurement. They're going to put it out to a bid, and it's nails or bag sugar. It doesn't matter. It is what it is.
Yep. All right.
Absolutely. Thank
Is
you,
that good?
Sarah.
All right.
Absolutely. It was perfect.
Thank you, guys.